At Tim Forrest Consulting, we know you're the kind of person who wants to grow their food business and serve more and larger customers, reaching more shoppers. You know that in order to grow your market share, revenue, and volume, you're going to need insight, systems, and processes to take you there. Tim Forrest Consulting. Hey, thank you very much for joining us here on timforrest.com. Hey, I'm excited to share with you. I had a great email this week, and specifically, Kevin sent me a note asking about an opportunity with a distributor in a foreign country. The person had sent him a note and would like to distribute his products in their country and wanted some ideas and concepts on how to think about and formulate an action and a strategy for dealing with this. And I thought I'd share it. I answered Kevin and thought I'd share with you some of my insights, some of the thought processes that I use when I work overseas. And I've been working overseas for more than 2 decades with various countries and opportunities. The first thing I like to do is who's contacting me. So I want to understand who that person is and how they relate to the country we're talking about. What language do they speak? What company do they represent? A company? Are they the leader of a company? Exactly who they are. Where are they located? So within the country, are they in the largest cities? Are they near large population centers that are going to be so important? And what language do they speak? Just the basics of kind of understanding what this opportunity is, so that going into it have a little bit better feel about who you're talking to and what you're working with. Once you get through the basics, then I like to jump into the opportunity. And so, real simple, what's the population of the country? And then how does that compare to the United States? In this case, the population was under 20 million. And so it's roughly 5% of the U.S. population. And so 330 million is the U.S., approximate U.S. population. So you can just take your sales in the United States, divide it by 330 million, and then multiply that number into the population of the potential country that you're going to export to. So less than 5%. So 5% of your sales. The other thing that I like to do as well, so we can just look at the opportunity and see how small it is. And that's one of the things I shared with Kevin. Many countries are tiny as far as population and size. This country was smaller than the state of Pennsylvania. And so it's really important for you to understand the amount of effort and work that you want to put into these opportunities because there's oftentimes so much opportunity here in the United States that you don't want to spend a lot of time with these international opportunities. And so when we looked at it specifically, it's something to think about. The U.S. economy and the U.S. consumer and shopper oftentimes will represent somewhere between a third and a half of world consumption of different categories. And so, again, just to point out how important it is that you think about and really spend your resources, time, and effort here in the United States before you start thinking about or going and chasing after these international opportunities, because the opportunities are so much larger here. So we just talked about earlier about approximately 5%. The opportunity on a population basis is 5% of the U.S. population. I like to also handicap that number with GDP. So I will compare per capita GDP for the United States. You can Google all this information, per capita GDP, and then compare that for the potential country that you're going to export to. And so oftentimes you'll bring that number. We were at 5%. You could bring that down another half or even more. It could be 2 or 1% opportunity when you think of the consumer buying power in the country that you're going after. But I like to work through these basics and work through these numbers to understand before I start thinking about the amount of time, start thinking about contracts and agreements and going forward in that country and the time and the commitment just to get samples there. It can be a lot of work. It can be a customs paperwork, et cetera, to go there. But if you are, when you are thinking about these opportunities overseas, you don't want to give them exclusivity for the country. Think about areas, think about channels, think about anything but just giving them the country. Even with an investment on their part with sales and marketing and growing your product, you want to think about a tiered approach before you give them any exclusivity. And exclusivity does not have to be for the entire country. It can be a product line, it can be a channel, it can be a segment, it can be an area of the country as well, and along with retail specific customers. And then the first, an area to think about is I like to think about in 4 sections. So the first one is your first order, and so let's get some product going. Let's get an order from the account. The next one is I like to see big growth from that. 10x, whatever would be, but actual movement of the product and growth and penetration into the shoppers in that country. And then I want the next kind of hurdle opportunity is to duplicate the sales that we have here after I've handicapped GDP and the population. I like to think about how are their sales, equate to our sales, and if they can reach anything close to the sales that we're doing per capita here in the United States, then I start thinking about opportunities for exclusivity and going forward with that. And the last piece is to have a fair and equitable out for both you and the company overseas, the distributor or importer in the foreign country that you're thinking about. You need to have a way to end the relationship. It's really important in these countries because there's a lot of issues around this area. So you want to spend some time and talk and think about that with a distributor. Hey, I hope this quick video is helpful. I've enjoyed the work overseas that I've done. For me, it's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun, but it can be challenging. A lot of people don't want to work with overseas markets and accounts because of just the challenges of travel and communication. Oftentimes if you go to Europe, I'm going to lose 2 days of travel just for travel alone. And so what's the opportunity cost for your business if you're to be out of the United States for that period of time for that? Hope this is helpful. If you've got an innovative product, jump on my calendar at timforrestmarkets.com. Would love to talk to you about international opportunities for your product, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below. If this has been helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends and with folks in your company if this is something of benefit to you. Thanks a lot and have a great day.